How's it going, everybody? Joys of Sorrow here. Welcome to the Joys of Sorrow channel. So, this is going to be a bit of a aquarium fish product sort of review thing. And at the same time, I'm also going to be doing an announcement. I did tell you guys a little while back that there were going to be some changes to the channel, some changes in the way I'm going to be doing things this year. And well, one of those changes is that the aquarium stuff, all the aquatic stuff, is going to pretty much be going away from this channel. I've decided to actually make a channel specifically only for the aquarium videos, the fish videos. That channel is now called Joys of Aquatics, Joyz of Aquatics. And it's just regular spelling of aquatics. I didn't add any X or any, crazy letterings like I have with my name. I'm hoping to kickstart that channel around March, beginning of March. I'm still getting stuff like logo and some graphics done. It's me doing all of it. So in my spare time is the only time that I get to do it. And unfortunately, right now I don't have too much spare time. My kid is sick. People in the household are sick. I'm not feeling that good, and that's kind of fucked for me because I want to go to Slab City next weekend, and if things keep snowballing the way they are, it might, I might have to delay that. Not saying that I'm not going to go, but I'm going to have to delay it. And I'm also having car trouble, but again, that's not what I'm here for. So today's video is going to be pretty much a review and a concept idea that I want to go through with you guys, and that is, alright, let me show you an example here. Let's just say this is your standard aquarium. Now for the average standard aquarium, majority of us at our homes, at least I think the majority of us in our homes, have a filter in our aquarium, usually what's called a hang on the back filter. It's a filter that usually goes either in the center, on the sides, it hangs off the back. Has usually something going down into the aquarium, collecting water, sucking it up, filters it through a filter cartridge or whatever you'd use, and the water comes back out clean. I've noticed maybe in the last 6 or 7 months since I've been doing this aquarium hobby, we really seem to be the only people who really have hang on the back filters are more people who do aquariums more as just having one or two around. It's when I go around to the fish shops, I don't really see hang on the back filters being used a lot by people. Now that's not to say that I haven't seen it. I've seen it done I've seen it done in places like one of my local shops. They still use hanging the backs on some of their tanks, but by majority everybody is using sponge filters or some other kind of filter inside the aquarium that is using air to run it, not power. And since I've noticed that, I've decided that this year I want to try something similar inside the house, where if I can minimize the amount of power that I'm using for the aquariums, saving power is a good thing. And not to mention that could also lead to new potentials of having like an off-grid aquarium, an off-grid pond sort of ordeal. And I am very interested in the off-grid lifestyle, so that is something for me to definitely want to see if it's even possible. So let me go ahead and show you guys. Let me move this aside here. Pretty much some of the one of the main things that's used for filtration. All right, well, before I open this up, let me show you this box right here. Now this is a sponge filter. This one in particular is a corner sponge filter, so it's shaped like a wedge or a triangle, so they can sit in the corner, so it's more out of the way. A lot of the more traditional sponge filters are these big round things. You guys have probably seen it several times. If not, go back to my videos on the tank updates. 29 gallon has one, the 20 gallon long has one. As a matter of fact, those are the only two tanks right now that actually have them. And I mean, I do have pre-filter sponges in practically all the tanks, with the exception of the hospital tank, and that is because it uses an internal filter. So you can't really work with that. So let me just open this up. So this one here is the Xingyu or Xingyao tank corner filter, model number 2893. So like I said, this is corner. I'll show you guys right there. You can see it's meant to go in the corner. There's a little area right back here with a hose and an adapter so you can put in your air line. And then here you have your air outlet. Now you could leave it just like that and let the bubbles rise up. However, the beauty of this air outlet is that it lets you control the flow, so you can have some flow agitating the surface or just flow in general at any level inside the aquarium. Now this only goes about maybe 12 inches or so, maybe just a little bit more than 12 inches. But again, the goal of this is mechanical filtration. So the air is going to pump inside, it's going to come back out, and as the air is moving through, it's going to bring water in it. And these apparently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 layers of sponge, or at least said 10 layers on the site, but 9 layers of sponge will catch as much dirt, debris, particles as they possibly can, and let as much cleaner water out through the top as possible. So now I don't want to take it completely apart. I'll show you guys here the diagram there. There's the base, which is usually weighted. Another little cage thing there with an air stone for the bubbles. More cages, the actual sponge, and the top piece for this tube to go on. Now, what I've seen a lot by majority in these aquarium stores is sponge filters, usually doubled up. One in one corner, one in the other, regardless whether they are actual corner filters or round filters. And that's it. You know, that is the maximum amount they go for filtration. And you know, it seems to be working for them. However, I've also noticed another method which seems to make more sense to me, because yes, you do have mechanical filtration with this, but you still need, you know, biological filtration. And yes, I guess, yeah, beneficial bacteria will eventually just cling on to the sponge. But maybe it's just me. I'm not so confident on the sponges as being the greatest for beneficial bacteria, and apparently some people agree with me. I've only been doing this for about 7 months, guys. I'm pretty new into it. But I don't trust the sponge filters by themselves. Now, again, I do have sponge filters on some of my tanks, but they're working alongside hang on the backs. So, one thing I did see some places do, they use this. So this is, as far as I understand, what is known as a box filter. This in particular is a corner box filter, and it also runs on air. So go ahead and open it up for you guys. Show you guys what comes with it. And pretty much it's a bunch of plastic chambers, and as you can see, you've got gravel, rocks, some ceramic rings for beneficial bacteria here at the bottom. Also looks like there's dirt in there. Mine actually, oh, geez, okay. Yeah, I'm going to have to send this one back. This one is cracked. But I'll still do the review anyways. So you got your biological filter right there. You've got 3 different types of sponges, coarse, fine, and then your microfine, I guess is what you'd call it. And then it repeats the cycle back at the top. Now, this makes a lot more sense to me, mainly because, as far as I know, the beneficial bacteria clings on better to these ceramic rings. So, when I saw that at the store, I just pop that on there. Alright, so basically they'll sit in a tank. I got a tank right here. Let's just use this as an example. And this tank here is actually not not meant to be a part of an aquarium. This here is just, I'm using for example. This is something that when my kid and I go to the beach, if he wants to catch sand crabs or little fish and take a good look at them, he can. So here's the basic idea. Each corner a filter will sit. Obviously, imagine that this sits a lot more higher, and then these little spouts on top right here, they can push the water out and make it flow in any direction that you want. Again, you don't have to use these particular flow things. You could just pop them off and then just let the bubbles rise up, and this makes a lot more sense to me. It makes a lot more sense to me going about it that way than to just use double sponge filters, because there's for me a more confident form of biological filtration. The other thing too that kind of sucks with these sponge filters is about after 6 months you've got to replace the entire sponge filter. I mean, you can keep these parts, the base parts and everything, clean them up really well, but I've never found just the sponges alone as replacements for any sponge filter yet, with the exception, well, there's an exception. There are some sponge filters, like the types that use the cylindrical sponge filters. They kind of either hang in the front or they'll usually have two on the side. Those I've seen replacements for, but stuff like this, no, I have yet to actually see it online. So now another part of the experiment, and just go ahead and properly just put this back here. I'm gonna send this one back because it has a, well, you know what, I'll show you guys real quick. This one has a crack right here. Should send it back probably today, later today or tomorrow. Yeah, I'm just gonna send it back. But there's a crack right there. These actually absorb water from the floor. I don't really think that crack might be too much of a problem, but just in case. Now, one cool thing that this has an advantage over this. Again, remember how I was talking about we're having to replace these every 6 months? These pads right here, you can buy big sheets of the different types of sponges. Some of them are even specialized sponges that have activated carbon already impregnated into them. Some are for removing nitrites, ammonia. So the cool thing about that is you can take those sponges, cut them to form, and you pretty much are going to save a lot of money on filtration. Not having to buy filter cartridges like you would for the hang-on bags. So anyways, again, I'm going to go ahead and put this back, and then show you guys just how I plan to power these. So, like I mentioned, these are actually air powered. So part of the experiment will be also what I'm going to use to provide air, and that is this. Had these for a few months now. I've had them for about 4, maybe 5 months. So maybe just a few months less than I've actually been doing this aquarium stuff. But these are USB air pumps that I found on the internet. Now, Corey from Aquarium Co-op does sell something similar on his website, and I would most definitely recommend you go through him to buy it, because I've been buying these on Amazon for the most part. I've had good luck with these. I've been getting decent ones, but there has been an occasion or two where I've gotten a bad one, because aside from buying these for myself, I've also been giving a few of these away to people that are also kind of dabbling into the aquarium scene but don't want to spend a lot of money. And this seems like a really great alternative. Not to also mention, since these run on USB, you're going to save on electricity as well. I mean, it doesn't take a lot of power to run an aquarium, but wherever you can save energy, even better. So the goal will be to run a 20-gallon long with these two filters with this pump and just a split T. This will basically do is, if this plane will hurry up and pass by, what I'll basically do is I'm going to obviously cut proper length of air tube. One filter one side, one filter on the other. My main line goes there, so both should have an equal amount of air being pushed out of them. And I think that'll work. Now, I have tested these on a 20-gallon long. I have tested these on a 29-gallon. I've tested these on a 50-liter cooler, which isn't that much farther from 10 gallons, but they seem to work pretty well as far as providing air. I have used this one in particular. This is actually the first one I've ever bought. I ended up using it in the summer when we lost our power sometime near August of last year, and it was just so damn hot. So this, back then I only had two tanks. I had a 29-gallon and a 5.5 gallon, but this pump ended up powering two sponge filters for both of those tanks. And I just kept it ever since, and ever since then I decided, hey, this has a lot of other uses. What if I want to transport a fish? What if I want to go fishing? What if I want to go fishing and I want to keep the fish that I catch alive so it can be fresher when I eat it? Or what if I go catch the bait to catch a bigger fish and I need to keep the bait alive? This is a pretty good solution. Another cool thing about these is that you can run them on power packs, on USB power banks. As far as I've been told, 10,000 milliamps gets you about 50 hours, 48 hours worth of power. So 20,000 can do, be able to do it 95 to 100 hours. So that's 4 days worth. So again, the whole off-grid capability of this is very attractive to me, especially considering that I can get a 20,000 milliamp USB power bank, power the tank with just this, and get a really cheap portable 6-volt or 12-volt solar panel that, as long as it can provide 1 to 1.5 amps to charge said power bank during the day, it's an off-grid aquarium. How cool is that, right? An off-grid aquarium. Now, obviously, there's still things that you'll need for power for in an aquarium. Mainly the heater, and of course the heater's mainly for the winter time. And there are some fish out there that can take very big temperature fluctuations that you can keep in your tanks too. But either way, that's a discussion for another day. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Guys, like the video, subscribe. Again, these aquarium and fish videos will start to disappear soon off of this channel, the Joys and Sorrow channel. They will slowly be moved over, or they might even some of them might even be remade over to the Joys of Aquatics channel. If you haven't subscribed to the Joys of Aquatics channel, go ahead and look it up on YouTube. Joys, the way you spell it on this channel, of Aquatics, regular spelling. It's not a fancy channel just yet. There's no content on there. First line of content should be rolling out in the beginning of March. Thank you again, guys. Again, like the video, subscribe. Have yourselves a great day.